Hey everyone, so just to help continue to support parents as best I can, today I'm choosing the subject of multi-step math word problems. I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, so for this slide is just a brief introduction into how I break down word problems, and it works really well for my children. Read everything slowly. You will be reading and encouraging them to read things multiple times. As you're reading, encourage them to draw pictures of any items, scan for numbers and write them down underneath those items. Scan vocabulary for the operation, and I'll attach a guide. So like certain words will mean certain operations, and if you're not sure what an operation is, it's minus, divide, times and plus. Write any number sentences and work it out. So and remind the children, look, you've only got the numbers that you've got, so we have to do something with them. That kind of takes off the pressure. Because it's multi-step, you pretty much have to repeat steps 1 to 5 for the next part of the problem as well. Keep any notes, encourage them to keep notes, but in a neat fashion so that they can read it. And when they finish the word problem, or they believe they have, it's really good that you encourage your children to be able to talk through the whole problem from beginning to end. Okay, so let's start, and I've put the steps that we're basically going to be following over here. Let me just choose yellow. Okay, so right, read everything slowly. Tammy buys a skateboard. Now I'm going to show, because I'm going to repeat this same thing over and over again, my children will eventually have figured out that you don't have to read everything and then start drawing. You can do it as you go along. So Tammy buys a skateboard. So I'm going to draw a skateboard. Right, so here is my skateboard. Remind them that this is not an art lesson, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so there's my skateboard for £15.34, and spare wheels. I'm going to draw some spare wheels here. For £2.19. She paid for all of this with a £20 note. So here's my £20 note. Oops. How much change did she get back? So, okay, I've read through everything slowly. I've drawn pictures of any items. Now I'm going to scan for, so tick that, and tick that. Now I'm going to scan for numbers. Okay, so Tammy buys a skateboard for £15.34. So I'm quite comfortable that it's not very complicated. The skateboard cost her £15.34, trying to keep as neat as possible, and spare wheels for £2.19. So the spare wheels were £2.19. She paid for all of this with a £20 note, so I've already got the number 20 there. So let me just, it's also nice to highlight the things that I've transferred over to my notes. That's a nice tip as well. So there's my £20 note. How much change did she get back? Right, so I've scanned for numbers. Now I'm going to scan for vocabulary for the operation. Okay, now I'm going to do that for the first part, and I encourage my children to stop when there's something to do. So I know I have to give change, but in order to get change, I need to start off with something. And I've got, so that's my £20 note, but in order to get change from my £20 note, I should have spent something. Now I know I've spent £15.34. Now your children may do a number of things. They may associate the word change with subtraction, which is quite right. How much can be deceptive because it tends to indicate plus, but they must, that's why reading over and over again is important. So I'm going to get rid of that. So make sure they read everything over and over. Okay, so what am I, where was I? So she paid for all of this with a £20 note. How much change did she get back? Now, there's a number of ways of doing it. They may do 20 subtract £15.34, and then whatever change they get, they may subtract the remaining £2.19, and that's fine. That's a process, you know, it's their methodology. So long as the answer gets as long as they get to the answer, I tend to leave children free. But what I will do is model after they've, so if they've found the correct answer, I will model the more efficient way to do it. But I'll always congratulate them for getting the answer right. Or, okay, so I need to, but hopefully the way they will do it is, right, they have to figure out how much they've spent first. So I've spent this and I've spent this. So before I can work out the change, I need to add how much I've spent. So you should see notes of roughly £15.34, £2.19. Now I'm doing this on the assumption that the children are in year 5 or above, and they understand where the correct placement of digits are for subtracting money. I'll do that in another video. So now that's subtraction, it's addition, because I am adding what I've spent. So I'm actually going to put spent. Remember I said take notes. This is what I've spent. So that's £13. Now some teachers do it carry over at the bottom. I like to carry over at the top. So that's 4 plus 1 is 5, 53, and then carry the decimal point down. That's 7, and that's 1. Right, so I know I've spent £17.53. So now I'm going to work out my change, and I'll just put add next to that and subtraction next to that. So here's my £20. I'm going to subtract 17.53, and again I'm going to assume for the sake of this video that children know how to borrow, so can't do that. That becomes 1, that becomes 9. Whoops, that wasn't a very good 9. That becomes 10, and then it becomes 9 because I'm going to borrow again. The answer here is 7, the answer here is 4, the answer here is 2, and the answer here is 0. So my change is £2.47. Now, so we've scanned for vocabulary, and we've written down any number sentences, and we've worked it out. Okay, so I can tick all that off. But if we go on the first slide, I mentioned repeating the process, which I did. I did this over and over again. And also now I'm going to talk through and tick off everything that we've done. And the more you do, like if you do one maths word problem with your child a day, they will get really adept at spotting how to solve them. So let's go back through let's go for purple. I like purple. So Tammy buys a skateboard. Oh no, the purple's not very bright. Let's go back to yellow. There's the skateboard. There's the skateboard. For £15.34. Yep, I did that there, and I carried it over here. And spare wheels. So here I can tick that off because my spare wheels are here. For £2.19, I can tick that off because I carried that over here. She paid with all this with a £20 note. Well, here's my £20 note, and also here's my £20 note in my word problem, or my number sentence rather. How much change did I get? Well, here's the change number sentence, and here's my change. So I can tick that off. I didn't tick the £2.19 off because I did that. So there you have it. That's just a quick breakdown of how I would solve a multi-step maths word problem. I hope you found that helpful. There are lots of teachers out there, and you know, they have lots of ways of teaching this. That's just my take on it. It does take a lot of practice, so keep practicing, keep trying with different mathematical problems, different mathematical operations, times, divide, fractions, time elapse is a good one, because children tend to really struggle with figuring out how much time is passed in between two times. So time elapsing is quite a good one to practice. But my email address is there, so if you have any questions or you need any coaching or tuition for your children, please don't hesitate to throw me an email, and I will hopefully get back to you pretty soon.